I'd like to call the meeting of the Isabel Board of Commissioners to order. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Hey, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Weber,
Here.
Campbell, Commissioner Delazinski.
Here.
Commissioner Hope,
Here.
Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Swaney, Commissioner Engel.
Here.
All present, Mr. Chairman, except for Commissioner Campbell, Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Swaney.
A couple of them are running late, so hopefully they'll show up later, but we do have a quorum. Okay, next up, we have approval of the agenda. What we have up for us is we have general public comment on agenda items only. We have no presentations, special presentation and special reports. We have several appointments to boards and commissions. We have the consent agenda. We have 5 agenda items on the committee reports. We have no intergovernmental affairs. We have the administrator's controller report. We have no unfinished business. We have 1 item on new business. We will have general public comment again on any topic, limited to 3 minutes. We'll have announcements and adjournment.
I'll move adoption of the agenda.
Support. It's been moved by Delazinski, supported by Weber. All in favor, signify by aye. Aye, opposed. Okay, we have an agenda. Okay, next up, we have general public comment on agenda item only. Please state your name and limit your comment to 3 minutes, please.
Mogenberg. There are 2 items on the agenda tonight that I would like to address. The Isabella County Administration Building and the FOIA appeal by Greg Schmidt. The first thing that I would like to preface this by saying is in regards to the administration building, it was brought up at the last meeting about MSU extension. And the best example that I can give all of you, because first of all, MSU extension is wonderful, but when we cannot afford a roof over our heads, we don't retain Netflix and hang on to the extras that are not necessary. Now, I understand that tonight we're going to have to vote to accept these proposal bids, which is a great decision, and I think a lot of people agree. But you guys are under a lot of scrutiny lately, and I'm just going to tell you, that scrutiny is a direct result of deliberations that are taking place behind closed doors. When you have these discussions, they need to be in this room with this public body, and that is lawfully how those discussions need to take place. And when decisions are made and not all board members are aware, we actually run into a legal problem. So not only tonight am I going to ask you to have discussions regarding this proposal, but to turn back into the past over the last year when you have not had discussions about potentially buying existing buildings, selling the current building, and looking at new builds. And all of those are things that should be discussed by this body publicly. The next thing that I want to bring up is the FOIA appeal by Greg Schmidt. I do understand your perspective and not having those financials right now, but I do ask that you reverse that and give a date to him that you will provide those rather than just simply denying that. To add to all of this, it's been almost a year since we've lost our road patrol. Personal experience with the MSP in Mount Pleasant that is under the guise of the governor, to keep that in mind to all of you. And the MSP here locally investigated adultery without a shred of evidence. If you guys aren't sure what adultery is, that's somebody having sex that presumably is married. Again, the MSP here in Mount Pleasant investigated that. I would like to see our road patrol come back where I have sheriff deputies that foul the Constitution of the United States. Please look at your budget, look at what you're putting in the rooms that you are adding to a building and whether it's necessary or not. Thank you.
Okay.
You need my address.
No, just write the name, address down, but we'd like your name so we know who we're talking to.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Deborah Gray Frankie, and I live on Highland Street in Mount Pleasant City proper. I'm here to respectfully ask this board to pause before approving committee reports agenda item number 5. This isn't about being against a renovation. It's about making fully informed, forward-looking, and fiscally responsible decisions. We've all seen the challenges and community frustration that come from how the jail project was communicated and handled. Now more than ever, we need to build public trust into every step of major spending decisions. I would like to propose that the board table agenda item number 5 and consider a motion for a request for proposal on conducting a cost-benefit market analysis that compares renovating the current building, continuing to lease space, implementing a partial remote or hybrid work model, or buying a new property or shared use space. These aren't just hypothetical. It's the reality of how successful organizations are rethinking space, spending, and services. I've lived in this community for nearly 3 decades, so almost 30 years. In that time, I can count on one hand how often I've visited the county building in person. But I use the county website now and again, and I often call the county with questions. And like many in this room, I've always been treated well, and I get what I need without ever walking in the building. I understand that some residents may feel more confident when services are delivered face to face, and that matters. Don't get me wrong, that truly matters. But we don't have to choose between accessibility and efficiency. We can design a model that does both. I gave 4 options to consider tonight, but I'm sure that there are more. So I would like to encourage the board to consider hosting brainstorming sessions with major institutional stakeholders like the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe, CMU, my employer, and local business leaders. These stakeholders bring experience, resources, and creative thinking to the table. We should ask, could shared space, cost sharing, or co-located services be a part of a smarter path forward? Finally, I want to address the elephant in the room. I know that over $1 million has already been spent on abating the existing building, and that's a significant investment. But I also know sometimes sunk costs can't and shouldn't drive future decisions. This isn't about assigning blame. It's about empowering this board to move forward with data and thinking outside of the box. What does it hurt to spend a few thousand more dollars to analyze the options? I believe the right decision is the one that's backed by facts and data, not just momentum. If it were up to me, I'd rather be criticized for investing time and money to gather the right data than to be criticized later for making the wrong decision without it. Thanks for listening.
Okay, the mic is still open. Okay, do we have anybody online? Okay, at this time, I'd like to close the general public comment section. There will be another opportunity to comment towards the end of the meeting on any item, so. Okay, we have no presentations and special reports tonight, so we have appointments to boards and commissions, so. Commissioner Jalazinski, so you guys are gonna be busy tonight, so you want to take the first one?
Department of Health and Human Services Medical Care Facility. It's the chairperson's request for nominations for one opening on the Department of Health and Human Services Medical Care Facility Board for a 3-year term ending October 31st, 2028, until a successor is appointed. With that, I will place a nomination or the fact that Mary Myler Hunter, the incumbent, has applied for that, and I'll place her name and
Nomination, is there
Appreciate-
support for that?
support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported that we place Mary Myler Hunter for the nomination. Is there any other, excuse me, any other nominations? There any other nominations?
I'll move nominations.
Is there any other nominations? Gotta get one more in, sir.
Okay. Now, make a motion to close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Mary Myler Hunter for Department of Health and Human Services Medical Care Facility Board.
Been moved and supported that we nominate Mary Myler Hunter on unanimous ballot. Any more discussion? All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. Okay, we'll make that appointment. Hey, Commissioner Weber, you want to take the next one for me, please?
Isabella County Veterans Affairs Committee Chairperson's request for nominations for 2 openings on the Isabella County Veterans Affairs 4-year term ending June 1st, 2029, or until a successor is appointed.
Okay, I'll open up the floor for nominations. Yes,
I'd like to nominate Robert Denslow.
okay. Is there support for that? Okay. We will do, since there's 2 positions, we'll do them separately, so.
Okay.
Vote on that, so. Okay, we have Robert Denslow. Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Robert Denslow.
I hope and supported by John Linsky, that we pass unanimous ballot for Robert Denslow. Any more discussion? All in favor, signify by aye. I will make that appointment. Okay, the nominations are open for the second.
Mr. Chairman, I'll nominate Russ Allwood.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported that we nominate Russ Allwood. Are there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Russ Allwood.
Support.
Been moved and supported that we pass unanimous ballot for Russ Allwood. Any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I have the Commissioner Weber made the motion, but it was never seconded. Get it going.
Okay, on Russ Allwood's.
No, in the beginning, so Commissioner Weber opened it up, but it wasn't closed with a second motion, and then someone.
But that wasn't really a move.
That wasn't a motion. We were just nominating people, so.
Correct. So you need someone making a motion, and then you need it seconded, and then somebody went ahead and nominated. Like the first one, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one has 5.
Well, we had 2 positions open, so we opened. Yeah, we opened it. No, because we opened it up, but there was 2 positions. So what we did, we voted on separate ones.
You're not gonna have a second vote, so obviously they're open.
Yeah, we're gonna have the second vote on Russ Allwood right now.
I'll show you. It's not gonna have a second vote.
Okay,
I can show you later.
okay.
So we need a second then to Commissioner.
We opened up the nomination, correct?
If someone just wants to do it.
Do it, just somebody do a second.
Second.
Moreno seconded. Seconded Weber. Okay. So now can we go ahead and proceed to vote? So is there any more discussion? Does everybody understand what happened there? Okay, seeing no more discussion, all in favor of unanimous ballot for Russ Allwood, signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that, the appointment has been made. I'll make that appointment. Okay, Commissioner Hope.
Yep, item C is move to appoint Jill Borland to the Great Lakes Bay, Michigan Workforce Development Board for a 2-year term ending June 30th, 2027, or until a successor is appointed.
Support.
Support.
Been moved by Hope, supported by Jelzowski. Now, this is a motion, so any discussion?
Just that, the Chamber of Commerce wrote a letter of recommendation for Ms. Borland.
Yeah. I've worked with her too, and I think she's would be a good person to be here.
Okay, any more discussions on that? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. Do we need roll call on that? No, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. We will make that appointment. Okay. Moving on to consent agenda. Commissioner Marino, you're all alone over there, so it's up to you.
Okay, move to approve and place on file October 21st. 25 regular meeting minutes and the October 28th, 2025 Financial Committee of the Whole minutes.
Support.
Been moved by Marino, supported by Jelzowski. Any more discussion on that? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
We have the consent agenda. Okay, let's get into committee reports. Commissioner Jelzowski, you want to start out?
Yes, the October 17, 2025 invoice list, the October 24th, 2025 invoice list, the October 16, 2025 adjustment list. Motion reads, move to ratify and place on file the October 17, 2025 invoice list in the amount of $275,962.46. The October 24th, 2025 invoice list in the amount of $206,392.74, and the adjustment list dated October 16, 2025.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. You want to take the first one?
Sir. For the October 17th, 2025 invoice list, this list was sent out previously to the Board of Commissioners and was discussed at last week's Finance Committee of the Whole meeting. On this first page, you will see the amount of invoices that are out over $5,000. And out of the $275,962.46, the general fund portion of that is $50,672.52. Some of the larger items on this one is Advanced Benefit Solutions for $29,118.18 for prescriptions. We have a water heater replacement for the Commission on Aging for $12,396.05 from Rummer Plumbing and Heating. And then we also have Isabella Bank for $22,050 for bond interest on one of their drains. And then there was also a sheriff's sale for $59,966. That's also included on this invoice sheet.
Okay, is there any questions on that? Okay, seeing none, let's go to the October 24th.
Next one is the October 24th. Total amount of invoices, $206,392.74. General fund portion, $90,256.33. We have the Advanced Benefit Solutions for $22,534.78 for dental and vision insurance. Community mental health for the first quarter appropriation of $54,075. We have HATS contract for $6,730.77. Middle Michigan Development, $11,395. And then a couple items for from the treasurer's office related to taxes.
Okay, any questions? That set of items? Okay, let's do the October 16th adjustment list.
Here's the adjustments list. This is a list of all vendors that we prepaid to avoid late fees or to get early payment discounts, plus invoices that were changed to correct entry errors. And one of them was one for Midwest Air Filters. Was an error on that of a little over $1.50 on that. But the rest of them are early payments to Wind Telecom, Consumers Energy, and Gordon Food Service, which we pretty much see this every time.
Okay, any questions on the adjustment list? Any questions on the entire list? Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Weber?
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you. Commissioner Weber, you want to take the next item, please?
That's Internet Early Termination Agreement and Early Termination Payment. Motion reads move to approve the early termination agreement and early termination payment in the amount of $2,722.50 between Isabella County and CMS Internet LLC and authorize the board chairperson to sign the same.
Support.
By Weber, supported by Jazinski. Want to
Yeah,
You're
Mr.
wanting
Geddes is
to?
unable to make
Okay.
it, so we have a tower in the West Tower, and it has a VHF repeater, and since Central Dispatch no longer utilizes VHF equipment to page the fire department, they no longer need this lease, so the early payment would be $2,722.50. If this was not to be agreed to tonight, then we would be obligated for the 11th month contract of $5,445 and
questions, comment? We went through quite a bit of it during the.
It'll be good to get rid of the last piece from the analog system.
21st
always-
century. Getting
Yeah,
in the
10 years
21st
ago, that
century.
was a big item, trying to get all the radios on the same frequency, and it was quite. So hopefully now with the new tower system and everything, this sheriff did a great job getting that together, so everybody's on the same system, so. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 5 yeas, 5 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioner Hope, you want to take item 3?
Yep, item 3, Region 7 Area Agency on Aging Purchase of Service Provider Agreement. Motion reads move to approve the Region 7 Area Agency on Aging Purchase of Service Provider Agreement along with the addendums and the Business Associate Agreement and authorize the board chairperson to sign the same and authorize the board chairperson to sign the same.
Support.
Good move. It's gonna be that kind of night, I can tell you that. It's it's moved by Commissioner Hope, supported by Commissioner Marino. Discussion.
So Region 7 takes in federal and state money and then just to the various commissions on aging within that region, which goes towards some of the home delivered meals and case management and all sorts of things.
Any more questions, discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you. Commissioner Marino, you want to take item number 4?
Sure. Item 4 is amendment to travel policy number 250. The motion reads, move to approve the amendment to travel policy number 250 as presented to extend the reimbursement submission period from 30 days to 60 days.
Support.
Been moved by Marino, supported by Jazinski. Discussion. Basically, it's just to kind of clean up because the 30-day was a little bit too hard to get it in there, so it just makes more sense to give a
especially
little.
for the Commission on Aging volunteers and stuff.
Yeah, so it just makes it easier on the volunteers or turning them in. Okay, any more discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Jelazinski, item number 5.
Gave me the fun one.
I didn't figure it out. It just kind of went in.
Isabella County Administration Building. Motion reads, move to approve the authorization for the county administration, for the county administrator controller to prepare and send out a request for proposals for design bid build professional services for the Isabella County Administration Building remodel project.
Support.
Been moved by Jelazinski, supported by Marino. Discussion. You want me to start out or? Yeah, process that we've been going through, we've actually did the design build on a property out on the jail. Came back extremely expensive, so it wasn't really much discussion on that because we weren't gonna spend that kind of money on that. I guess it's time to move forward. This exactly gives our administrator the ability to put out an RFP, to get an actual cost. We have a lot of estimates. A lot of people tell us what it is, but this will get us a solid firm cost of what it actually is to go forward. Then we can compare it to everything.
This will get us, like, if you recall, the Spicer contract that was placed, that was for design bid build services. That wasn't the construction itself. That was to do the architecture, the bidding and the construction services on that. What this right here is just for that component. Once the steps, if an RFP goes out, and again, in no way binds the county to accept any of those bids. It just puts it out there to see what price they're gonna give for that design bid build contract. If that were to proceed, and I'm not assuming anything, and just so you kind of know, then if it were to proceed, then they would put together all the necessary documents that would be designed for submission, in which we could then go out for another bids for a general contractor. And that is when you get your real cost on what the building would be at that point, when you get the general contractor. And, previously, there was the thought of going out for the bond. So we're not doing that. We're trying to get actual true cost before we even do the intent to bond notification.
Commissioner.
I know we had a plea in public comment about putting this on hold. And as the young lady was speaking, I was thinking back a year and a half, 2 years, we've had basically 2 different committees looking at various aspects of this project. And we had determined with that earlier committee and with this latest information that we cannot afford to build new. And thinking out of the box, I mean, there's a lot of strings that are there. We have to do it in the city because that's the seat of the county government. There's just not a place to, I'm thinking rent or lease that was going to give us adequate space to house. We might, I think there's 11,000 square feet from the old Rite Aid building, but one of our floors is 11,000 feet in the current building. And we really don't have any options but to rebuild in our current footprint. And we've done our homework a couple of times, and I know we get the lumps. And whatever decision we make, we're going to continue to get the lumps. It's just one of those things that comes with the job. But we have studied this, and I think it's time to move forward. We need to get our employees back into decent housing. I know not everybody uses the services of everybody in the county building, but everybody benefits nevertheless of the services provided by the county. We need to do it in the most efficient and effective possible. So I'm ready to move on with it.
Yeah.
So we have a proposal for a design build bid from Spicer. This kind of puts it out for RFP to see if anyone else give us bids. That same type of proposal. We did have Spence Brothers look at building a new building on our property. Of course, there's problems with that because it's outside the county seat. But we did look at, we do have property out there. And the bid that they came back to us with, and it was 38,000 square feet. So a little less than the 45,000 square feet we have in the existing building, but with a one-story building, you don't need stairwells, you don't need an elevator shaft, things like that. So they were able to pare down the square footage a little bit. But the square footage cost came back at $444 a square foot. Now, I know that we can get a building built a little less expensive than that. But I don't think it's gonna compare to refurbishing our existing building. The similar contract from Spence Brothers to do that was $251 a square foot. So I don't think we're gonna get there with a new building. And then, of course, if we build on the jail site, then we've got problems of being outside the county seat. We've got a building here downtown that's, that would be, still is ours and we're still responsible for it. We'd have to try and sell it. The building that we have is structurally sound. It's been emptied out. Ready to rebuild. This does not bind us to that path. Doesn't bind us to anything. It's just putting out a request for bid. Yeah.
Now that
I
original
would say proposal, not.
proposal,
Yeah.
proposal too,
Yep.
we're a little bit ahead of the game. That first one also was looking at rebuilding the sheriff's old building in there. And after doing a lot of research on that and looking at that, that seemed to be gonna cost us more because of the shape of that building. So that was one of the options that we looked at earlier, that we kind of shot down, and then we looked at the building outside at the jail property, and that turned to be a little bit expensive. And I think our employees have been very patient with us, trying to get this done, and this is process we need to get going in there. Leasing seems to be extremely expensive at this point, so.
Just to piggyback on that, the employees have been very patient and working in inadequate space. And it's been a couple years now. There was talk in committee last week of a timeline. And even though we're not bound to this path yet, I think we do need to start formulating a timeline, even if we can't yet foresee the end of it, at least maybe the first few steps, just to give employees something that hey, they're working on this. Just a thought. I think it's something that we should do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've, talked to employees, seen employees, and I know, we can't keep delaying these things. The sooner we can, relieve the stress and the hassle of different locations, the better in my mind. So I definitely support this.
Well, the other thing too is we're leasing space, and that's always going to get more expensive. We're still responsible for the mechanics of that building that we're leasing. So if something failed, we would be on the hook to replace it. So that's another consideration. And like I said earlier, we've got a building sitting there on Main Street that's structurally sound, that has been completely emptied out. It's ready to rebuild, so.
Okay, any more discussion? Okay, I think we're ready to vote, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Butter,
Yes.
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 Yes,
Buchanan,
thank you, Madam Clerk. We have no Intergovernmental Affairs Committee or report. Administrator Controller, would you like to comment on anything? Okay, we have no unfinished business. We have one item on new business. The FOIA appeal of Greg Smith.
I'd just like to say I agree with the public comment that maybe we should just give Mr. Schmidt a date on when he can expect that. Would
60 days for the receipts to come in.
Oh, because
So-
part of this document that he's requesting is actually prepared by our auditors. So
So until we get the audit done, that document's not available.
it's, yeah, basically.
I know as soon as we get the year end done,
Then
that'll
there's-
be addressed to, that'll be,
get the trial balance usually in the early December and stuff, but that again is still the auditors are the one come then through our our engagement letter, that they are the ones that prepare the documentation on a lot of this right here. So that way we're not moving the numbers around, that they are actually doing it themselves. So it kind of gives you that control and oversight when they do it at the end of the year.
but definitely as soon as that document's available, we're gonna put it.
Oh, yeah, and it
Yeah.
comes out, I mean, immediately and stuff. So, I mean, so what he's asking for right now, and the reason why I was denied is because, and I did get with an attorney on this, is that it doesn't exist. Not created, it's not there, it's, so that is, per our attorney.
So we do not have a balance sheet through October 31st, even if there has to be adjustments made?
It's not, nothing has been printed off, and so therefore it doesn't exist.
It exists electronically, though.
No, because you still
Does
have
it?
to run the report, and I would go and look at public record is a writing prepared, owned, used in possession of, or retained by a public body in performance and official function from the time it is created. So no public record exists because it was never created. And with what he wanted, it wasn't just a simple thing. It involved some moving and manipulation of numbers and stuff like that, and it just doesn't exist. And am I speaking to that correctly, Finance Director?
Yeah, please.
So just to help the board understand this process, the specific document that was requested in the FOIA is not a document this county that administration prepares. Never has. The administration has always went with, and it's in the engagement letter of every single year that we have to sign off on an engagement letter with whoever our auditing firm is. And in the years past, I can speak back to at least the audit year of 2017 because I came to work for the county in 2018. That engagement letter specifically states that the auditors prepare the financial statements. This particular statement that the FOIA is requesting is definitely prepared by the auditors. Administration does not prepare that particular report at all. And you can find that in your audited financial statements, that particular report that's being requested. It is definitely in the annual audit. So therefore that particular request for that document would definitely be available as soon as our annual audit is wrapped up and provided to us by our auditors. And we are required by law to complete our annual audit by March 31st of every year. So we typically wrap it up prior to that because this board needs to accept our audit and place it on file prior to that date. So you would expect to have that document, I would say, to be available, by very beginning of March, I would assume.
For your time on this issue. It takes a lot. Any other questions? Yes, do we need a motion on this or new?
Would either, if you were to uphold the denial, you just make a motion to uphold the denial of the FOIA request by Mr. Greg Schmidt.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported to uphold the denial. I guess we should have made the motion first to discuss, but any more discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, let's have a roll call on this one, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, next up is general public comment on any topic. Please state your name, restrict your comments to 3 minutes. Mr. Fox.
M. Fox. I just want a couple of things. I know you're with the administration building and that. I hope you have, and I think what I've seen is now you're trying to do due diligence with it. And again, I agree with the one of the previous presenters to get the road patrol back as soon as we possibly can, at least some people, et cetera. Having said that, the admin building brought forward something I've been meaning to say a couple of times, and that's I've observed that the old sheriff sign is still pointing to the old one, and since we have a lot of visitors to our city, I think it could be confusing for some at both north and south on Mission. It still points down to the old one. So I would recommend that someone take a look at that and perhaps get the signs in the right place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, you have said things tonight that you expect the public to know about. You've spoke about committees, 2 committees that have taken place over the last couple of years. You've talked about the expense of the county proposal for the new build out by the jail. I do not know which part you don't understand. You are being scrutinized by the public because these conversations are not taking place in this room. We have not heard from this committee that's met. We have not seen the proposals presented by you. We have not seen the options. The fact of the matter is you could all be making the best decision. You're going to continue to be scrutinized because you're not bringing that forward. In the FOIA that you just denied tonight, I don't know who this gentleman is. I literally have no clue who he is. Do you know what it looks like that you're denying this FOIA? It looks like you're trying to conceal information, to pick up the phone, to have a conversation, to say, is there anything else that we can provide in this moment that will help? If you guys want to stop being scrutinized and you want to get people behind you to support you, to get employees and build back the sheriff and the road patrol, you have to be transparent. And I don't know how to make that any more clear. Think about it, sleep on it, bring it back to the next meeting and bring the conversations up, please. Thank you.
Hey.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'd like to comment on the agenda item for the RFP. First, Spicer Group. I do wish we'd done that back in February when I was told, quote, right now, we're not preparing to build a contractor into the building for a site visit until we've had time to meet. When that time comes, we'll reach out to local builders for a formal walkthrough, unquote. I don't believe that ever happened, but I'm happy to see at least a little progress in that direction. Second, depending on how the RFP is written, it's going to be difficult for contractors to respond with a bid without having a chance to walk through the building, discuss various options. Ideally, there'd be an industry day where contractors could walk through, hear our thoughts, provide their comments. You can learn so much from just listening to the perspectives of other experienced people. Then ideally, we'd aggregate our thoughts, release it in an RFI to get more feedback for what we want to do, and then we'd be ready for an RFP. I'm sure that we don't think we have time for that, but it's not the fault of the other contractors that everything's been closed loop with Spicer until now. Usually making a second mistake is not going to fix the first mistake. If we'd taken our time and talked to other local companies back in October of 2023, we'd probably be in a completely different situation than we are today. It's been said that years ago an RFP was released and we received no bids. My goal today is to try to make sure that doesn't happen again. When we request proposals, we need to show that we want proposals and that we need to enable contractors to get the information they need to be able to effectively bid on the RFPs. And ideally, we'd give the contractors the opportunity to tell us that there are better ways to do things and we might be thinking that we should be doing them. For example, we seem to be set on getting a loan to finance the building, which likely forces us into prevailing wage, which substantially increases our quotes on prices and likely rules out many local contractors who can't afford to pay employees those wages, or they don't do enough state-funded work to handle all the prevailing wage paperwork. Could we do this more cost-effectively without a loan by first taking care of any required shared infrastructure, then wisely targeting efforts and dollars to key areas of the building that allow us to minimize our spend, yet maximize the value of the area being remodeled, slowly moving employees in as areas are finished? Yes, it might take more time, but it could cost a fraction of the amount with no interest and no prevailing wage. I hear this almost every meeting. We can't afford $300,000 a year on rent. Rent is so expensive, as if it's some ginormous budget item for us. But I've never heard a single complaint about the alternative, which is $500,000 a year for interest on a loan. $500,000 is a lot more than $300,000. And at least the $300,000 goes to someone paying property taxes back to us, unlike where our interest would go. The county needs to reach out to our contractors, not just to have an entitled view that now that there's an RFP, the contractors ought to be begging to bid on it. If we don't make an RFP that contractors want to bid for, we'll be back with Spicer with their $164,000 a year administrative assistant rates, $396,000 a year entry-level project manager one rates as part of the quote that they provided. Commissioners and administrator, please do not just throw this RFP over the wall and hope magic happens. Consult with the contractors, engage with the contractors, listen to the contractors, help them help you. If the RFP does not get multiple bids, there's something wrong with how we're handling the RFP, not something wrong with the contractors. I know there's little appetite from the county for outside help, but there are several people who I'm sure would be happy to help with this if ever desired. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else want to come to the mic? I think everybody in the room, nobody on there? Okay, at this time, I'm going to close the general public comment. Let's move on to announcements. Commissioner Moreno.
I just wanted to make a few comments about the Health and Human Services Committee meeting that I went to. I'm the chair of that committee, and I just wanted to say that the main discussions were what we can do about SNAP and various other cuts that the federal government is doing. And people were determined to help the people that aren't going to get any food. I know there has been a successful lawsuit by 24 attorney generals, including Dana Nessel, to force the SNAP money to be released. There was a couple other judges that also talked about that, but there's a lot of uncertainty. Say is that I'm really impressed by the concern that the commissioners and many other organizations have to help people that are hungry, homeless, and so forth, if our government isn't going to do it. So we talked about collaborative councils, the hunters who donate their food to help people that are hungry, and a lot of other organizations that I'm in are distributing food, like on the tribe, on the reservation. So that really encourages me that not everybody can be heartless, can be cruel, and not think of the other people in America who are suffering right now quite a bit. Not just the food, but also the people that lost their jobs, the people that are fired for just saying the wrong thing or something, arbitrary. So I'm just encouraging everybody to help each other out because things are pretty rough right now. That's all I have to say.
Mr. Delazinski.
Hey, Jim and I attended the Isabella Substance Awareness Committee this morning at 10 o'clock. Anyhow, they did take action to appoint the three members that they nominate for the Isabella County Opioid Advisory Committee. So that should be on the agenda, I think, next Wednesday. And also, I did get an email from Behavior Health at the tribe. Apparently, their staff is really engaged right now, and they're going to be hiring a new assistant director. And once that hiring is done, that assistant director will be nominated to serve on the committee. So we're closing in on 11, 12, 13, yeah, 11 or 12 members of the committee, which would be enough to start calling it together and getting it organized and moving forward. So looking forward to the next committee meeting. And they're very competent professional people that are filling these committee spots.
Okay, any other, Commissioner Hope?
I just want to take a minute to remember Judge Irvin was a probate judge here in Isabella County for many years. Fantastic guy. Condolences to his family.
Okay, any other comments? Just kind of like to remind everybody, it's this coming week, we got a lot of high school action coming up. We got the girls start the volleyball tournament, and we got 2 teams, maybe more than that. I know Mount Pleasant and Beale City are playing Friday, so get out and support your local high schools. Okay, with that, with no other announcements, I'll entertain a motion.
Don't move.
Moved by Jelznitzky, supported by Marino. All in favor, to close the meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are closed, 5:51.